Unsolved 1992, the case of 80-year-old Beatrice Greig. Beatrice Greig was found dead in her home. Her daughter was convicted of killing her twice, but successfully appealed following both convictions. Beatrice Greig was beaten to death with a hammer at her home in Lowry Close in the Meadows, Nottingham, on the 28th of March 1992. She was found in a pool of blood in a downstairs room 3 days after it was thought that she had been killed. Her daughter was first convicted of her murder in February 1995, but was released 20 months later following an appeal in December 1996, at which her conviction was quashed on a technicality. It was ruled that the judge had misdirected the jury on important scientific evidence. At the trial, it was heard that Beatrice Greig's daughter had said that she had used the hammer that had been used to kill her mother to test creaky floorboards, although it was noted that the floor of the property was concrete. Beatrice Greig's daughter had at the time of the murder been living with Beatrice Greig. She was tried again and convicted in June 1997, but appealed again in 1998, and her conviction was found to be unsafe and she was freed. The jury at the second trial at Birmingham Crown Court, which had been made up of 7 women and 5 men, had returned a majority verdict of 11-1. The prosecution said that although the evidence was circumstantial, that it showed that no one else could have committed the murder, and that the evidence created a picture of Beatrice Greig's daughter with a hammer raised over her mother's body. Following the second conviction, the police said, "We are just very pleased with the result. It has been a long, hard slog. I think now the 2 jury decisions indicate the proper conviction of Beatrice Greig's daughter. I hate to think how much this has cost, not just in money, but in the heartache of a lot of people, especially the family." However, Beatrice Greig's daughter's husband said, "There will be an appeal. She's totally and utterly innocent, and I have always said that. I will not let it stand at this. There's not a single shred of evidence against her. It's a desperate disappointment that we will have to go through all this again, but we will not let it rest. We will continue this until such a time as we get justice." However, at the second appeal, it was heard that the judge had erred when he had allowed evidence regarding £16,000 that had been in the daughter's bank account, which her father had given her, to be used as evidence, it being stated that the matter created a dangerous and prejudicial situation for the daughter because it left the jury with a false route to the murderer's identity. The appeal judges said that the evidence had been irrelevant to any issue in the case and was as such inadmissible. They added that they would not have otherwise disturbed the majority verdict of the jury at the second trial if it were not for the matter of the money, which they said might have unfairly prejudiced the jury after it was noted that the only motive that the prosecution had put forward for the murder was greed, and that the receipt of the £16,000 had established the suggestion of greed in the case. The appeal judges said, "In a finely balanced case, this could, we fear, have led to an unjust result." However, the appeal judges rejected the claim that the conviction had also been compromised by the judge's refusal to allow the defence to cross-examine a man that they said had confessed to Beatrice Greig's mother to having murdered Beatrice Greig before retracting it. The appeal judges said that the trial judge was right to have drawn the line where he did. The appeal judges also questioned the circumstantial evidence against Beatrice Greig's daughter, questioning whether there was sufficient evidence to convict her, and saying that the prosecution at best had only a marginal case. After her second conviction was quashed by the Court of Appeal, Beatrice Greig's daughter said, "It's just wonderful to be believed at last. I just believed that one day, somehow, the truth would come out." It was heard that the prosecution's case was entirely circumstantial, the prosecution stating that Beatrice Greig's daughter had been motivated by financial greed. Beatrice Greig's daughter had been a library assistant at a museum in Nottingham. She would have been 47 years old at the time of the murder. Following the second appeal, no further developments in the case were made, and the identity of Beatrice Greig's murderer is still unknown today.